Hi, and welcome to Freshwaves. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Actually, today is Thanksgiving for some people. Other people celebrate it on Monday. But on Sundays, it's kind of a nice day to get together for family dinners, and it's a traditional day. And then you get Monday leftovers. Love that. Unfortunately for us, this year, we have to wait for kids to get home and people to get home from wherever they're going. So we're going to have our dinner on Monday. There's so much to be thankful for this year. We've come through a massive pandemic that's taken hold of the whole world. And although we're not done yet, I feel like we've made great progress in not only dealing with the virus itself from a medical point of view, but also by dealing with it ourselves in our own lives, conquering fear, conquering misinformation, understanding how we fit in the world around us now that the world has changed. And I think personally that the world has changed. And I don't think it'll ever be the same as it was before COVID. I think COVID has had some really nasty claws that got into a lot of people. And in the same sense, it's also brought with it some sadness, but some real joy as well. I guess it's the same with everything. It's always a double-edged sword. This year, I'd like to do this Thanksgiving show about things that we have to be thankful for, things that we have to look forward to. And I don't think I can do that properly without inviting Jason Rumball to join us this morning. Jason is a longtime friend. He's the technical producer of this show, Freshwaves, and he's a kidney recipient and right now is back on dialysis. And in a world where without medical technology, Jason wouldn't be here to talk to us, I thought it was really appropriate that we have him on here on this Thanksgiving Sunday. So happy Thanksgiving, Jason, and welcome to Fresh Waves.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Bren, and thanks for having me on your show again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to be a part of the team here as a technical producer for Fresh Waves.
Well, we love having you on the show. So I'm going to ask you the cliched question at Thanksgiving. What do you have to be thankful for?
We'll have to be thankful for the dialysis machine that it was really sad for me to realize that after 19 and a half years I'd had to go back on the dialysis machine again. My sister's gift of a kidney, she gave me 19 and a half years of freedom from the dialysis machine, but to have that machine there for me 3 times a week, 4 hours per treatment. I'm so grateful for that because it gives me the opportunity to, do this radio show with you and to also, be with, my family this Thanksgiving weekend to enjoy, the lovely food and, have a few laughs and play some games and things like that and spend some time with the family. So I'm just really happy to, be doing, pretty good. Like I've had some recent issues with shortness of breath and stuff like that, but I'm, my medical team at dialysis are on top of things and trying to make sure that I'm, as healthy as possible, despite what I'm going through. So I'm really, thankful for that.
Well, those sound like really good reasons to be thankful. I mean, and the main one, that your sister gave you that lovely gift of a kidney 20 years ago that served you very, very well.
It sure did. It allowed me to be involved with, Whistle Radio. I've been in Stouffville now for 10 years and, coming to Stouffville, getting involved with the radio station, which led to other opportunities in the community to, be involved as a chairperson of the town's accessibility committee and getting, involved with the different gigs in the community to play music and stuff like that and meet some really great people. So, that's one of the things that's, allowed me to have the time and the energy and, being in good health to volunteer in my community.
It's funny that you say that. It gave you the ability to volunteer in your community. I mean, there are so many people in the community who are so thankful for the volunteers, from the people that you helped in the accessibility committee to the people at the radio station who have benefited from your expertise and your volunteer hours. I mean, we are the ones who should be thanking you for the things that you do in our community. And we, I must say, are thankful for everything that you've done, Jay.
Oh, well, thank you. It's just been such a fun time, and, to be able to meet you and meet all sorts of different people. And, I'm really glad that I have moved here. And, I just moved this summer. I'm just around the corner from where I live now. So I'm so glad that we're able to stay in Stouffville after all, because I thought I might be moving away from the town, but I'm still in town, and still, so happy to still be here.
That's great. Now, the other thing you volunteer at is organ donation awareness. And
that's right.
I don't think that we should overlook the volunteering that you do in that aspect of your life, because that is so key. Organ donation awareness is so important, and the work you do to bring awareness, to participate in the events and talk to people about organ donation, I think it's really important work.
It is. And, the people that I met, it made me realize that I'm not alone, that there's other people that have, got a kidney as well, there's one lady that I met, Pam, who we've interviewed on Freshwaves. She got heart and lungs, and just to hear all the different stories, and to see the people doing so well right now, and for me to have the opportunity to when there's events in the community, to share my story of my sister giving me a kidney, and just to see their faces light up, to say, oh wow, I didn't realize that a living person could do this, and just educate them on living donation, and to encourage people to sign up to be organ donors, and it's so great to hear from people to say, oh, I've already done it, but it's for others to sign up right on the spot there at our events, or to go home, talk to their family and sign up there. I think it's really important that we are able to continue to do this, whether through social media or in-person events, to share our stories and encourage people to be organ donors.
Well, and like I said, again, we're really thankful for that. Now, Jason, if you had to put together a wish list, what is top on your wish list right now?
Top of my wish list is to get that kidney, to be free from the dialysis machine, because I, just thinking of all the things, like if I had a healthy kidney right now, like what would I do, and just to be able to have the time and the energy to do these things, and with this pandemic going on right now, it's great to see that things are opening up, and getting back to normal, and hopefully that continues, that we can gather in public, because I really miss, I love to be around people and to help people, so I to finally get that the call from to come down, and for the transplant, or maybe there might be somebody out there listening right now that would like to be a living donor like my sister, to help me out that way. That would be so grateful. So to be able to be finally free of the dialysis machine for a second time, and hopefully never have to need the machine again, to be free, and to be able to live my life and do all these things.
So in that sense, I mean, I guess you can say that you're also thankful for the freedom that you had for the 19 and a half years. And
exactly.
Yeah, getting tied to that dang machine. I mean, obviously you're so blessed to have a dialysis machine that allows you to continue with your quality of life. But it's really
exactly.
not the long-term solution, is it?
No. I mean,
so you go 3 days a week.
3 days a week, and 4 hours per treatment.
And
But
that
that's
4 hours, then it's an hour to get there, an hour to get home. And when you get home, it's not like you're going to go out and play basketball or something. You're tired and you need to rest after dialysis.
that's right. A lot of times I come home and I just don't want to do anything. I just want to, sit on the couch and watch TV or whatever. And so it takes a lot out of you because it's only for the afternoon, but it ends up being the full afternoon. So for a good portion of the day, you're there at the clinic, and it can take a lot out of you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, on this Thanksgiving Sunday, I would wish you all the best. I hope that you will get your kidney. I hope that dialysis continues to work for you and that you continue to feel well. And on this Thanksgiving, I am thankful that you are here and still a part of this show and a part of the community that we both share.
Well, thank you. I'm just taking it one day at a time and trying to be as positive as I can, as I think your attitude does help you get through whatever you're dealing with. So I'm just so grateful to be here and do this show, and hopefully I can't wait to tell you and tell everybody that I finally have gotten my kidney. So I hope that that day comes very soon.
Me too. Well, thanks for joining us today, Jay. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
You too, Bren. Thanks for having me on your show. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to everybody listening out there.
Joining us on the air right now is the one and only Ivan Harris. Good morning, Ivan.
Good morning, Brenda. So nice to hear your voice.
Well, it's nice to hear your voice, too. And before I ask you the cliched Thanksgiving question about what you have to be thankful for, I would like to say thank you for all that you do in our community. Your over 50 years with the Lions, your 40 years plus with the Markham Fair, all of the volunteering that you do at Eastern Gate and around this community. We are truly thankful for all that you have done. So thank you, Ivan Harris.
Thank you very much, Brenda, for saying that.
So what do you have to be thankful for this Thanksgiving?
Oh, boy. How much time have you got? Living in a community like where we have people of all ages from about 55 up to over 100, by the way.
Wow.
And these people sometimes just need somebody to knock on their door and say hi. And in the morning when I'm walking the dog around, if I see somebody with their window blind open and they're sitting, I usually wave. And they're so thankful, and that makes me pleased.
Oh.
So just that little bit of help and everything. And I enjoy living here. I'm so thankful for this community. It allowed me to, and I run some of the activities here.
Mm-hmm. I've heard.
And just planning the activities and getting them going and seeing everybody smile, especially after COVID. It's just, I'm living on a high right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Are you going to get to see your family this Thanksgiving weekend?
They're all coming here for Thanksgiving. It's going to be bedlam because I've got 2 dogs right now that have never been on a leash.
Oh, my.
And I've been taking them a walk around Eastern Gate, and they have no idea. They're pulled, they stop, it just drives me crazy because they're older dogs, but they live on a farm.
I see.
Anyway, and at Thanksgiving we're going to have about 4 dogs, and it should be really fun. It'll drive my wife crazy, but we'll be glad they're coming, and we'll be glad when they're gone.
I think that's how most people feel about their families. It's lovely to have them around for the afternoon.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, yes, that's Thanksgiving. We're looking forward to it, and it should be fun. Even decorating with the little name cards and drawing a little funny picture, and try to put the personality on sketches. Either it's a flower or it's a car or something of that nature, and it's just so much fun to have them all together. And I really feel that our family, we're blessed because all of our people live in the area, and everything's just working out well.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, Ivan.
Thank you very much for calling, Brenda.
All right. Thanks for speaking with us today. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Joining us in the studio now, or actually on the telephone, is the one and only Angela Dawn. Now, for anyone who has listened to Freshwaves over the last 10 years, you will have known her formerly as Angela Dacey, but she has gone with her fitting name and new changes that are coming in her life. So Angela Dawn is joining us now. Welcome to Freshwaves, Angela.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And Dawn's my middle name, so it's still been my name my whole life.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful name, and it's so fitting for who you are and the aura that I feel when I'm around you. Dawn just is exciting. It's colorful. It's fresh and new. I think it's just a fabulous, fabulous name.
Thank you. Well, it was definitely. I had to have some patience until I actually felt whatever was going to happen right. So yeah, it's definitely new beginnings. Which hey, that's what Dawn's about.
Perfect.
A new day, new beginning. So anyway, but I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Well, on this beautiful Thanksgiving Sunday, I want to say happy Thanksgiving. And I'm going to ask you the cliched question I've been asking everyone this morning, which is, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone listening. I always feel so thankful for so much. I really do feel blessed. But, I'm going to go back to health. I think when you don't have your health, you really realize all the other pieces of your life just either aren't as important, or you start to realize the importance, but health is everything. And I think going through the pandemic, going through COVID, having my back go out again, which happened recently, I'm so thankful for just health. Every single day to me is precious. When I have a day I can dance and I can have movement, I feel extremely grateful. So definitely for me, that's movement and health, and being able to dance is probably what I'm most thankful for my own personal life, let alone all the amazing. I call them soul family, my regular family, my friends. I feel very blessed.
Oh, that's terrific. And yeah, I think you're so right. Health is such an important thing. My grandmother used to always say, illness knows no prejudice. It doesn't care what color you are, how tall you are, how short you are, where you've come from, what you do. Illness affects us all. And COVID has really taken a toll on a lot of people this year.
Yeah. And it's been tough even to watch people you love going through times where they're very ill, and sometimes you feel so out of control and you're not able to help, So I just, I'm going to say definitely health and wellness, and I'm going to say that on all levels too, also mentally and emotionally. Mm-hmm. We forget as well how much we have when we are in balance that way. So I'm always very thankful when a new day begins and I feel like I can get out of bed, and I'm feeling good today, and I'm very blessed. Yay. And it's a beautiful feeling. So
yeah,
always thankful for that.
It is.
And for being on your station and your radio, for sure. I love connecting with you. So
well, we love having you here. So let's go back to a little bit of your roots in your color therapy, I call it. It's fall. So we're getting into all the fall colors, the yellow and orange and red, and the different shades of red. We've got burgundies and orangey red and blue reds and then the green in the background that's just trying to hold on to its last legs of green before the fall really takes hold and knocks the leaves off the trees, so to speak. So when we're bringing these fall colors into our home, what are they representing?
Oh, it's a great question. And I'm looking at my window right now to some beautiful colors living in the country. It's interesting. Red, oranges, and yellows are very masculine-based colors, but they're warm, root-based, I want to say family and friend-based colors. So it kind of, for being in Canada, it brings us into this, bunker down for the winter, getting into taking care of our own physical bodies, our immune system, connecting with family and friends. The red is all about that warmth. Think of roots of a tree, right? You're kind of coming back to your home base and you're there. And The oranges are about that socialization with family and friends, especially Thanksgiving, bringing people into your life that you want to have social relationships with. And that yellow is also a beautiful, positive color, which is also mentally stimulating. And so it's a time really for us to connect inward, maybe stimulate the mind, connect with friends in our social life, and really just owning that. And so I find with fall, it's perfect for us, especially living where we do in Ontario. It reminds us, like, to come home and have those good meals and pamper ourselves and reconnect with relationships and stimulate the mind, because maybe we're inside more than outside coming into the winter months. It gives us a chance to find that good book, read something new, take a course or a class in something. It gives us an opportunity to move into a time when nature is dormant for a reason, So I think it's a real inward connection, if that makes sense, from a physical, mental place, instead of more of an inward spiritual place that we've talked about before. This is more physical. So perfect colors for that.
Well, I guess it's not by accident that fall has the colors that it has.
I always think nature knows exactly what it's doing. Exactly. So it's perfect. It's perfect. And it does remind us, right, that sometimes we need to get quiet. Sometimes we need to let go of the old. Sometimes we need to just stay still. Mm-hmm. And then with spring comes the rebirth. So, right. It's a beautiful time to just get quiet and look inward and take care of our physical health, our social health, and our mental health.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, there are within all the beautiful colors, the evergreens, that now, although their color isn't as vibrant as it is in the spring, it is a beautiful complementary color to the other colors in the fall landscape. So Tell us a little bit about green.
I love green because green's the center of all. Like when we're talking about the chakra system and how we have 7 energy centers, green is the center. There's always 3 above and 3 below. But to me, green is the heart center. It's Mother Nature's heartbeat. It reminds us that there's an ebb and a flow. There's a give and a take. There's always a yin and a yang. There's movement, and nature has movement. And so do we. It's funny enough, I said I'm grateful for movement. Funny. So, you look at the trees, they're solid, their roots are stable, but they move, and they move with the wind, and they allow themselves the flexibility to move. And the greenery shows us that as much as we can be stable with our feet planted, we also have to have flexibility to just go with the flow and move and be with nature. It reminds us to take those deep breaths, right? It reminds us to trust that everything is in divine guidance, that, as much as sometimes I saw this great little line that said, sometimes when you feel buried, you really have just been planted. So it reminds us that we're always growing, we're always evolving, and that everything in life is ebb and flow. And that green does that. So that's why walking in nature is such a beautiful thing for the soul. It's so relaxing. And as you know, being into forest therapy, you've got your oxygen, you've got all your, not only just, the beauty of nature and what it brings to us, there's so much more. So getting out right now and absorbing that color energy and being one with nature is a beautiful thing for the health.
I mean, fall is such a popular time for walking and hiking because it's not as hot as it is in the summertime. But I find that the phytoncides that are in the air during the fall season are still very prominent. The trees are still putting out their insecticides that are natural, and then we breathe them in and we get the benefits from those beautiful phytoncides in the air. And I love the fall for hiking. I'm not a big fan of it for the cold temperatures, but I'm really a big advocate for walking in the forest, as you know. So are you getting together with family this year for a Thanksgiving dinner?
Yes and no. I mean, a little bit. My son's coming home from university, so definitely I'll be seeing my son and daughter for a little bit. But I'm also helping out some friends with their store so they can go see family. And I'm also, I guess too, I'm going to be visiting kind of all throughout the weekend, visiting my in-laws. So definitely it's going to be sporadic. I'm not having a big sit-down dinner this year, but that's okay with me too. I'm kind of in a sense being available for other people so that they can also have that time together. But I will get to see my son and my daughter as well together, which is always, for me, a huge treat because they crack me up when they get together.
Yeah, that's so much fun. That's a lot of fun when you have your family around.
Definitely. And my dog will be super happy to see them both. He misses his kids if they're not here.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice.
Well, I'm really happy that in this busy time, you were able to spontaneously speak with us this morning. For the listeners out there, I actually called Angela and asked if she could speak with us 30 seconds before she went on air. So thank you for having the flexibility to speak with us this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Anytime. For your listeners, anytime. I'm really always feeling, again, blessed and grateful that you include me on your show. So thank you so much.
Not a problem. And we look forward to speaking with you in the very near future about your newest endeavors and what you're going to be doing. And then we will talk about fading out all of these fall colors and welcoming in the colors of winter. And I look forward to doing that show with you at probably in November.
Sounds good. We could use that in November.
We could.
For sure.
So thanks very much for joining us, Angela. I really appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank
and
you so
to
much.
you, and to you. Thanks again. You're listening to Fresh Waves, and I'm your host, Bren Masson. If you'd like to hear this podcast again or more Fresh Waves podcasts, go to our YouTube channel. That's Fresh Waves Radio. You can hear all the podcasts there. If you'd like to get a hold of me with a show suggestion or a story that you have to share, then just email me at bren@freshwaves.ca. bren@freshwaves.ca. We love to hear from you. Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to Fresh Waves. This is our second half of the Thanksgiving show. We heard from some really wonderful people in the first half about everything that they have to be thankful for. And in the second half, we're kind of going to flip the script a bit. And we're going to talk about grief. Now, you might say to yourself, it's Thanksgiving Day. I don't want to hear about grief. But, you know, grief is a part of our lives, just as much as joy and happiness is. And we will gather around the Thanksgiving table, and hopefully everyone will be feeling just great. And every family will be together, and all members will be there. But for many families, there are people missing, whether it's children away at university or loved ones who have passed away. And the empty spaces at the table are daunting. And there are some people who will not be happy. And how do we, as the rest of the family, deal with these people? Do we acknowledge their grief or do we ignore it for the day? Joining us on the line is Paula Gray. She's a grief counselor and she's joining us from Mount Tremblant, Quebec. And the reception is not great on her cell phone, so I'll apologize for the audio quality right now. But if you can bear with me and listen to what she has to say, she's got some really good tips about grief around the holiday season, especially around Thanksgiving. Let's take a listen. Grief isn't just about death, is it, Paula?
No, grief is not just about death at all. Grief can come up in a person at any time there's a change in their life or in the lives of the people around them.
Okay, so when we're talking about grief, for example, a friend of mine, her daughter has just broken up with her boyfriend, and it's the first real boyfriend, first love thing, and she's really upset. She is grieving.
Right, and the most helpful thing we can do when people around us are grieving is to acknowledge their loss and to acknowledge their grief, even, if we don't think that it is maybe as or should be as severe as the people are experiencing it. So grief is felt by the person who's having the experience, and if we're close to that person, we acknowledge that their grief, we respect their grief, and we let it have a place at the table, so to speak.
Okay, so what are the things that you could do, say, at a holiday time like Thanksgiving for someone who's just not feeling like they want to celebrate anything?
Okay, so Thanksgiving is, it can often be, like all family holidays, a really stressful time for people because everyone comes into it with a different expectation. The mothers and the families might want it to be a time of harmony and peace where their families are all back together again after having their first 6 weeks away at school. And the dads might see it as a time for sports, and the kids might see it as a time to check in with their parents and then get out of the house and see friends they haven't seen because they've been away at school. So just thinking about the different expectations that are coming into a weekend can help to cut a little bit of that tension so that everybody realizes they're not sort of there for the same reason. But Thanksgiving in particular is an important holiday and an important time to observe, you know, some kind of ritual. Just getting together might be the ritual that you have at Thanksgiving, because it's the beginning of the dark season, it's the beginning of the fall, it's the beginning of the time of year where really we want to go inside, we want to be a little more internal, check in with ourselves, and get ready for the quiet, colder, dark season. Okay, so it's kind of a coming, almost like a nesting kind of a thing then. I think it is, and if you think about it in relationship to the harvest and Thanksgiving being traditionally held at a time of year where everything is in from the fields, you know, there's an abundance of food right now, but you're going into a leaner time, and you really are giving thanks for that. Thanks for you know, the seasons that you've come through, and preparing for a little bit of a quieter time. Okay. So what are some of the rituals that you've noticed over the years surrounding Thanksgiving? Well, there is the whole coming home aspect of it. People tend to come from afar for Thanksgiving like they do in other holidays. And the ones that come to mind for me are, you know, the tradition of before a bite is taken at the meal, we'd go around the table and everybody says something that they're thankful for. And what you're doing is you're prompting people to have a moment of self-reflection. And the more, you know, the levels of sincerity are going to differ between families, but you're prompting them to have a moment for self-reflection and to state out loud something that they're grateful for. Another one is a lot of people go on a Thanksgiving walk or a Thanksgiving hike. The time to get out and see the leaves. I think that when you're dealing with a really fun event and then you look across the table and there's one person who just doesn't seem to be engaging. I mean, sometimes we feel lost at what to do with that person. We don't want to necessarily center them out and make a big deal of it. So what do you recommend that we do? As not the person suffering, but the people who are loving them and wondering what to do. Okay. So it's hard to know what to say to people when they're unhappy, when they're grieving. Absolutely. And you're right, you don't want to center them out. So there's a lot of misinformation about grieving, and people generally don't know what to do when they're unhappy, how to get over a loss, when to get over a loss, and it's different for everyone, of course, because the thing that we don't often take into consideration is that grief can be cumulative. So for one person, an accident with a pet can have a huge impact because they really haven't dealt with things that happened to them earlier in their lives, whereas another person might have a loss of a loved one and doesn't appear to be reacting to the same amount. So as the person who's trying to help, you don't judge, you don't compare grief. This should cause more pain and that should cause more pain. What you want to do is you want to let that person know that you can see that they're unhappy, that they're suffering. And it might be when they walk in the door and you have a quiet moment with them. And if it's, you know, Aunt Jane and her husband passed away and this is the first Thanksgiving that she has spent without him, you might want to say, you know, hi, Aunt Jane, you know, how are you doing? And you wait for the answer. You stay present for the answer. And then you might say something like, you know, when Uncle Joe visited the house, I always remember the way that he made sure that he took his shoes off right away and slipped them under the bench so they wouldn't get in anybody's way. So you've invited Uncle Joe to the party, even though Uncle Joe is not there anymore. And you've given a space for your aunt's grief. That seems very respectful. That's the bottom line when dealing with other people's sadness is to respect it. Yeah, I think a lot of times people say, how are you? And they don't really mean it. And they're almost turning away to another conversation after they've asked the question instead of actually staying present like you suggested and really asking. Well, which tells the person who's grieving that their grief is not, should be kept private. which is generally what we do, and generally why we don't process it.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame not to acknowledge it.
Yeah, and different families are different. You're going to have families that are not comfortable at all with any kind of expression of emotion. And maybe this isn't an answer to your question of how do you help someone that's grieving, because, but if you're grieving, if you're recognizing a loss around the table this Thanksgiving, maybe there's a little ritual, a small act that you can do for yourself that acknowledges the person that's missing. Putting out a favorite bowl that they had with something in it on the table, or remembering how much they liked cranberry sauce, or maybe mentioning that. There's little ritualistic things you can do for yourself if you're feeling lost, and there's little, bigger things, actually, that you can do for people around you if they're feeling lost. Even your friend's daughter's breakup.
Yeah.
That may not be taken very seriously by some people. It's a young romance, but she feels it.
Oh, yeah.
That should be acknowledged.
Yeah. Well, my family's Swiss, and one of the traditions that we have in our family is at all family gatherings, we have a family plate. Mine happens to be made by Jamie, my goddaughter, and it's a family plate that we don't put food on it or anything, but it's on the table and it represents all of the people that are no longer with us or who are far away and can't get home for the meal. And we always acknowledge the plate, show it to people who are new guests to the table, tell them what it's all about. And I really like it because it really gives us pause at the beginning of the meal to remember those who used to be at our table, who are no longer there, and to give a moment of thought to the people who are far, far away and can't come home. For us, it works really well. Yeah, we like it.
And do you state the people who belong to the plate at that meal? Do you talk about the people who aren't there specifically?
Sometimes, and sometimes it'll inspire a funny story about, remember when Aunt Marg did this, or Tyler, who was 22 when he died, and his mom is always at the table every year, and I know it's difficult for her at all of these functions. It's always difficult for her to sit at the table alone without her only son. But we still say we wish that Tyler was here, and we know that he's here with us tonight, and he's sharing in this dinner with us in spirit. Yeah.
Well, I'd say that's a healthy kind of tradition for sure.
Well, it sure works in our family.
Yeah. Well, you must have a very healthy family.
But it's not something we've always done.
Around food too,
Oh, that's
people
true.
Want to be more, or aren't comfortable with the overt plate, which I think that kind of idea is found in a lot of different cultures, and in some cultures they put food on it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
there can be, you're going to make the beans exactly this way because that's the way your grandmother made them, or something like that.
And
that's
often,
an acknowledgement of.
Yeah, often those different dishes that are on the table are your grandmother's recipe.
In your grandmother's dishes.
Yeah, sometimes your grandmother's dishes. That's for sure. Yeah. It's nice to acknowledge that. It is.
And maybe those are the little ritualistic things that get woven into family dinners that help to set us in place and time, that bring us home, that are familiar, that are important to kids as they start to, travel out and then come back home on these special occasions. Maybe ask them, what is it that you remember about Thanksgiving? What's your favorite part?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think sometimes it's shocking what they actually remember.
I think so too. Yeah, yep. And things that you haven't even realized that you do every year, maybe. It's the way that you put, the fall foliage in the middle of the table with the candles or something, Oh, I guess that I have been doing that, haven't I?
As a matter of fact, last year when the kids all came home, they're all in university. I have 4 kids and they're all in university, and we were just about to start the meal, and my 2 middle girls were in charge of setting the table, and at the very last minute one of them said, "Wait, we don't have any leaves," and she took off outside at the very time we were just sitting down for dinner, and she could not sit down until she went outside and got the leaves and put them on the table. I didn't realize it had become such a thing.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It really is. And it just shows you how we all crave a little bit of ritual, a little bit of tradition, how it does ground us, bring us home, remembers, helps us to remember times past.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't avoid it. I would
embrace
work towards. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. I know that you've got a busy schedule. I'm going to let you go, and anytime you'd like to come on and give us little tidbits of help like this, we would love to have you. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Not a problem. Ask again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks. Well, that was Paula Gray, and that wraps it up for Fresh Waves this week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and I challenge everyone listening to take a moment and write down some of the things that you're thankful for. Sometimes, like Ivan was saying, it's fun to go around the table and get everyone to write down on a little piece of paper one thing that they're thankful for. Throw it into a basket and then read out all the wonderful things that people say and what they're thankful for. Some of them might surprise you, and in a great way. Well, if you'd like to hear more Fresh Waves podcasts and broadcasts, you can go to our YouTube channel, Fresh Waves Radio. Hit subscribe. We love to have subscribers. If you have a show idea or something that you'd like to talk about, just drop me a line, Bren at freshwaves.ca. We love to hear from you. And we are airing every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on Whistle FM. I know it sounds early, but hey, what a great way to start your day. On that note, I'll wish everyone again a very happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you again next time on Fresh Waves.
Come on, let's turkey try. Let's get it while it's hot. Let's have it really fine. It shouldn't take the time. My grandmother taught this that to me. She did it at the turn of the century. Yeah. Come on, let's turkey try. People may say you're some kind of a love when you sit in your knees and you start to strut. But if you really want to get out of the rut, do some turkey trotting and all your cares will be forgotten. Come on, let's turkey try. Let's give it all we got. And when the dancing's through, I'll talk some turkey with you. Oh, we're gonna do the turkey trot again, just like they did it back in 1910. Yeah. Come on, let's turkey trot. Gobble diddle lip, gobble gobble diddle lip. Hey!